Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cornerstone Collective. I'm your host, Jay, and with me today is Angus McLeod,
Hello.
as well as Gage Lee.
What's up?
And we are coming to you from Metro Phoenix. This is the intersection of Christ and culture that we talk about every week and kind of run off of the top of the head of things that have been happening in life and topics at large on the interwebs. Hey, was thinking about something. Both Gage and I have been traveling quite a bit this last week. We kind of did a jump from last week, so you'll have seen something the previous week. But I was going all the way to Cyprus and back via Paris, via Athens. And then, Gage, you were in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was beautiful. It was so nice. Weather's perfect. Everybody was like, man, it's so cold. And I was like, we could trade. If you guys want to go back, I'll stay out here. This is perfect. This is just what I need. It was like 50s to like high 60s, low 70s.
Oh,
That's nice.
Beautiful.
Man.
Beautiful.
So nice.
How was? I mean, you're a good dad, but how was navigating traveling with two boys?
It was difficult. It was difficult. Blatantly honest, right? Like, it was
What's the
just
age?
difficult.
What's the ages for everybody?
3 and 7.
3 and
So
7.
the oldest is 7. Middle one's 3. My wife already had our youngest out there. He's actually about to be 5 months.
Wow,
5 months old, just
Congrats.
crazy.
Let's go.
But the boys, I mean, like what the main goal is, you know, you got this section of airport and just give it all you got, guys. Give it all you got. Go 110. That way, once we get on the plane, hopefully they crash out.
Yep.
It worked perfect for the flight out to Seattle. But on our way back, it did not.
Did not
It
work.
did not work at all. They were up the entire flight,
Oh no.
up through the airport. And, you know, honestly, I think the only thing that made it a little difficult for me on the flight was just like, man, I'm tired. I want to
Yeah.
get some rest.
You
But
want to take a nap? Yeah.
Yeah, but the boys ain't taking no naps, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a good time. It was a good time.
That's
It
awesome.
was definitely eye-opening because while I was in there thinking about, like, man, this is rough, I see a dad with 4 kids walking by. And I was
Ooh.
like, hey, you know what?
Perspective shift.
Yep. You know what, man? This ain't that bad.
That's awesome.
Manageable.
Yes, sir.
Suddenly manageable.
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome. You know, just like you're doing with your kiddos, man. We traveled with our kids. Obviously, we were serving across the world, and
Yeah.
so was something we used to do with Javen. We were itinerating when he was kind of like 2, and then turning to 3. Whenever we moved to France for the first kind of stint of our life in Europe, but we would travel and we would be at the airport, and he had like his own like little tiny backpack and stuff, and so all the time he would like go off like he was going to go on his own journey. And he'd be like, okay, bye, Dad. I'm like, bye, Javo. Hey, have a great time. I was like, hey, diversify your funds, real estate and stocks. Remember that.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
he would just start walking away. And people at the airport were freaking out, man. They're like, you're
Sure.
going to let this kid go? I'm like, well, clearly not.
Right.
And he would do a loop, and he's like, hey, I'm back. We're like, hey, welcome back. You know, like,
Yeah.
give him a little fly. He's like, hey. And then everybody
awesome.
would like started cheering with him. You know, it's really silly.
That's so
but
funny.
that's
fun. But yeah, man, that was in the era. I mean, they don't do it anymore, but that was in the era when they're like, oh yeah, you should give your kids like Benadryl so they'll crash out. But the downside is that some ADHD kids, you give them Benadryl and it's like, you know, like giving them booze or something. Now they're like
Yeah.
charged up, but also off kilter. So they're like in a plane, but like 100% like.
Yep. That was my 8th grade trip from Dallas, Texas to Frankfurt, Germany.
Was
Yep,
you?
Yep. My parents thought, hey, we'll give him we'll give them this Benadryl, or it wasn't even Benadryl. It was something else.
Yeah, by 8th grade, you had to be a big kid.
I was not.
You were not.
I was
Okay.
not. I was
You're
always the smallest kid.
You're
through-
smaller.
I was the smallest kid through school up until
Ah.
like my junior going into senior year. I had like a 5 or 6 inch growth spurt,
I had
gained
one. I
like
had
40
one.
pounds.
Yeah, I
It's
had one.
crazy.
Same.
But yeah, they gave me whatever. They're passed out, and I'm sitting there watching movies on the screen for 13 hours, just like
Eyes like this.
100%. Like the Incredible Hulk was playing with I forget his name, same dude from
Edward
Fight
Norton?
Club. Yeah,
Yeah, Edward Norton,
yeah.
yeah.
He was you know, that Incredible Hulk was playing the whole time. I'm just like this.
tweaked out
Yeah.
on a plate.
Are they awake yet? No. Okay, this is a great movie. Are you awake yet? No. Okay, this. It was
Squirrel,
wild.
squirrel.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild.
That's crazy.
They're
man.
at the end, they're like, "Hey, you got some sleep, right?" I was like, "What sleep? What is
Yeah.
sleep?"
Yeah.
It's funny.
You guys travel a little bit with your kiddos.
We haven't done a whole lot. We've only done one airplane trip with them. We've done some road trips and things, but
Yeah.
with between theater and ministry, it's really hard to get away.
Yeah.
Because our busy time is her downtime and vice versa.
Right.
So,
right.
so we haven't done a whole lot of traveling. We've done a little bit of it though. Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Curiosity, how is it the difference between like the road trip and the airport flying trip? Like, what's a little bit more manageable in your eyes? Would it be flying and at the airport running around with the kids trying to grab bags, or just the?
I think it's the pregame. Whatever you do ahead of time is really what's important. So when we're doing long trips and things like that, you just keep them up the whole time so that they physically can't keep going. And so, like, when we've got a long road trip, if we're going to leave early in the morning, so if we're going to leave at 6 a.m. to go.
All-nighter.
Yeah, they don't go to bed until 4 or 5 in the morning.
Sick.
So that they have just gotten into that REM, and you go, okay, let's go into the car. You take them, you put them in the van, and then they pass back out.
Nice.
You know,
There's some wisdom in that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
What's
I
the
think-
longest road trip?
We went to Texas. We took Gavin when he was like 6 months old, something like. He was under a year, I think. We took him to Texas. That was a long trip.
That's a bold move, Kyle.
Oh, dude, that was.
Yep.
And he was good the whole way on the. Oh, we went to Oklahoma, and
wow.
as soon as we passed on our way back, as soon as we went from Oklahoma right into Texas, Gavin threw up in the backseat of the car. It was awesome.
We've definitely dealt with all that for sure.
Oh.
Yep.
We've done both since we've like done tons of big road trips. We had to go to Missouri for different things, training and stuff like that. So we did those big ones. I've done big loops all the way through the Dakotas and back down, and then spoke different places.
How
and
was
dealt
that?
Back. It was good. You just kind of have to lock in for a certain amount of time and just like going to take a break on purpose. So whereas the three of us would probably be like left door closed, right foot down. Let's make time and just crank it, and like hold on to it and use your bladder about to burst as motivation to drive fast. But we can't do that.
All swapping driving.
You got tiny bladder syndrome. They have to go at we make them go at every bathroom stop, and we space them out like that. But it's a better path, like a better pattern. That's how like Europeans do. They don't drive they drive like an hour, 2 hours, and they'll stop. So there's tons of roadside stuff like that in Europe that is built just like that. And it's like they'll go and sit down and have a meal. There's none of this like get meal and go in the car stuff. They don't do any of that. They
wild.
like sit and have the coffee, have the meal. They'll have like big bridges that are like the actual restaurants on the bridge, so you can access it from either side. So whenever like you can drive up on going north or southbound or east or westbound or whatever.
You watch the traffic go underneath.
Yeah, sit there and it's got glass. It's nice. It's like a nice experience. It's a totally different vibe. Like we drove from Paris all the way to Budapest, north of the Alps, and then south of the Alps home. The first year we lived in Paris.
That had to be gorgeous.
It was amazing. We had stopped along the way, stayed with different friends, stayed with friends in Prague, stayed in Vienna. Like we just stopped all along. We saw our friends in Brussels on the way there before we went through Germany. But
wow,
that's like those stories about like, driving on the Autobahn, going 170 kilometers an hour, in the right lane in the rain, pouring rain, and people are blowing past me like I'm parked.
Yeah.
Like in Mercs and,
great
just
stuff.
Crazy cars of all types.
I remember I was doing that driving down the Autobahn in Germany with my family, and we're in the right lane and just kind of cruising along, steady pace,
right?
Like typical highway in America.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, like,
just blips.
Oh, that's it.
Blips.
It's just like a flash of red and a flash of yellow.
100%.
And then like another 20 minutes up the road, we pull off. Same thing, right? Take a little break, and there's these dudes in like full-on racing gear and like a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, and they're just sitting there drinking a coffee.
Yeah.
And like those were just the guys
them.
that blew past us.
That was the yellow and orange blip that went past you. Yeah, definitely. That happened to us a bunch.
That's awesome.
And then south, we drove south of it, like all the way to Budapest and through Bratislava, and then back down. And we were with friends at church in Vienna, and then went over to Budapest for a conference. And then on the way home, we went down through Croatia, back into Slovenia, back into Italy that way. And as you come across Italy, we stayed in Venice, and then we were coming across. But as we're headed to Venice from kind of like the corner, come down in there in Slovenia, man, it started pouring rain again. And so it's pouring rain. This guy was down there, man, full bike, just pegged out, and he's wearing leathers. Pouring rain. He's got like a 20-foot rooster tail coming off his back tire, and he's like, just pegged out, spraying like this. And we're just trying to make sure that we stay off him, because if he hydroplanes, he's toast.
Yeah.
He gets way out in front of us, like he just blows past him, and I just kept it steady. I just like gave him a lot of room. And then we finally get up to the very first overhang. It was miles down the road.
Sure.
He's probably another 15 miles ahead of us. And we get down there and catch up with him. There he is underneath the overhang off of his bike, shaking out his jacket like this. I felt so bad for him, man. I was like, oh, that's brutal.
I've been there, though. I've been there.
Really?
Yeah, so went up with a couple buddies to Cave Creek. It's just before you start hitting the 17 stretch from Phoenix to Flagstaff.
Right.
And it's tucked in the mountains. Beautiful place. I go out there with some buddies back in the day. We're drinking, having some fun. And then at the end of the night, it's winter, so it's like late November, early December.
Right.
And we take the 303, which is pretty wide open on the backside, on the west side of the valley. And it starts to dump rain.
Right.
I'm on the bobber that we built for my mom. My buddy's on my 99 F Super Glide Sport. My other buddy's on his Dyna Lowrider. And my buddy's fifth gear, throttle pinned. And this bobber, it's not built
Yeah, it's not road
for
bikes.
crazy
yeah, you're
stuff.
cruising around. Yeah.
It's not built for crazy stuff,
Yeah.
but it's bored out. It's a bored out motor. It's pretty darn hot and heavy.
Yeah.
I get fifth gear pinned, and my buddy said, I was pulling on him heavy. He said he was pinned on my bike, and he couldn't see me.
Yeah.
Like within a matter of a minute, he couldn't see me anymore.
Wow.
So by the time I get home, there's a couple bars that run underneath the rear fender that then come up to hold the rear tail light. The bars that were underneath from the bike hunkering down so hard from the speed,
Scratch them.
it was rubbing the tires.
Oh.
So when I got home, there's like half-inch indentations into the rear tire from the bars.
No.
And mind you, I'm pegged.
Yeah.
And this bike's not like a easy straight bike. I'm like this.
Yeah. Well, you're
pegged
creating.
out,
Yeah, you're creating
wobbling
your own
like
wobble.
crazy.
Oh, wow.
And so by the time I get home, I realized like I very well could have
That's
just
a grace
died.
of God. Absolutely.
100%.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also shaking out my jacket.
That's right. But I mean, we did all that with kids, right? So I did with Shiloh was a little baby, and then Javen was like 3. So we did all that with all those kiddos and just doing
Crazy.
stops and doing all the pieces
Crazy.
here and there. But the real crazy ones are like when they go on the real long flights to overseas, like when you were talking about. We had that with Shiloh, where she just like had too many sodas or something. We weren't quite paying attention to what she was having. She got a kid's meal and she got a soda when they came back. And she just got too too much
wired,
caffeine. So she's just watching movies, and we're like, "Girl, you got to go to bed." I'm like telling her to turn her stuff off, and she'd pull her iPad out and playing. And then it was like 30 minutes before we landed. Here she is, like, and goes into comatose mode. Which now you have to try and get her up. And we have bags.
Yep.
Dude. I got all sorts of stuff I'm carrying. Each one of us has a roller.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess. And she's like dead weight.
Yep.
And I'm like, you have to be awake. She was like a zombie. She's like, bah. But she's very sweet and great. But I mean, just one of those things. And then, people are tired, so they get like the,
Yep.
I don't wanna.
That's what I dealt with whenever I came back, or on the way there, rather. So both trips, I fully loaded all of our like week-long clothes and essentials into carry-ons.
Right.
So I got 3 backpacks and then my CPAP. And of course, the boys aren't carrying anything
Sure,
but
yeah.
themselves and their jackets. So I'm walking through the airport, 1 backpack on the back, another one on the front, bag in the left, CPAP on the right. And then like my pinkies are out so the kids can hold my
holding the
pinkies while
pinkies.
we're walking through.
That's it.
We land. I'm like, boys, you guys need to get your jackets and you need to get up. We got to bounce.
Yeah. Dead. Yeah.
Sideways, dead to the world. And then finally, like, it's our turn. I'm trying to get these boys up. And so I like
Absolutely.
kind of pick them up a little bit and they're like this. It's like, go.
Yes.
They grab their jackets and they haul out. As soon as they get up
That's
the
right.
ramp, they sit down. They sit down in one of the chairs like, I'm so tired.
Got to keep going, gentlemen.
Come on, man. We got 10, 15 more minutes. Just get down to the carousel for baggage claim and we'll be fine. I promise.
Well, the new ones, the kids, they have like these little kind of like rollers, but it's more of like a seat. They sit on it
Yes.
and scoot like a scooter. Those things are awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
Internationally, because I just got back on Saturday from flying back from Cyprus. Internationally, man, tons of parents had those for their little kids because it's like you put all their stuff in that bag and then they have something to sit on and they're scooting around.
It's a good investment.
I think so. I wish they would have had them when my kids were little. I would have bought them up too, man.
I wish I had known about it before this last flight.
They're pretty great.
That's cool.
So if you guys are going to be looking to do international, you definitely want to look
Yeah.
that direction. But here's
I
the deal.
might be small enough that I can do one myself.
He's doing heel clickers on one. No, they banned the electric version of those because they had them for adults where it was like on a roller, a suitcase,
saw
but
those.
most people wouldn't do it because it's too heavy. because the battery and everything that's in it. It's
okay.
So while you can do it within the size, the weight was too much. The weight on just an empty case was almost as much as like
I believe it. Yeah, the battery and everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's crazy.
So my trip there was fine. I had a layover in Paris, which was great to run around Paris. We're going to talk about Paris in here in a minute. But and then went into Athens and then stayed in Athens. I got there like 2:00 in the morning. Had to like stay there till 7 to fly out. So just like trying to find a place. So I ended up drinking like 5 coffees to stay awake and get on the plane because I was about to die. But got all there. It was great meetings and stuff like that. But on the way back, I wasn't paying attention to my layover times. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should be able to make it. I have like 3 hours in JFK. Whenever you go out to the States, a little bit takes longer usually to get in through passport control, come into the country, etc.
Okay.
I didn't think about my time in Athens. I let an hour, which is like terrible because it's international. You're going from Cyprus, which is a country, into there, even though they're both EU. It's like you still have to go passport control, still have to do all these like things. I am on one end of the airport, and my gate is on the very opposite side of the furthest gate away. And I didn't know it. And so I got pushed the wrong way. And I had thought I got off the plane real quick and I thought I was doing really well. And I went the wrong direction and they sent me the wrong direction. And then I had to double back, go back out through security, then go all the way down, go back through security.
Whoa.
It was a mess. I was sprinting like Home Alone, like just boom, 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 running down the thing. I'm sweating buckets. Like everybody looks like I'm on drugs because I'm just sweating everywhere. I'm running, like, of course, it's a really, really far distance. So they have some of those travelators, which I'm like running down the travelator. And then, of course, they wouldn't be working. So there's like a couple of them are blocked off. So you're running down through the thing. Of course, I had bought some stuff for family and different things like that. So my weight in my check bag, which I had left room to bring stuff back, was off by 2 pounds. So the shoes I meant to wear, which are like running shoes, very lightweight, which were going to be my travel shoes, I couldn't wear because I needed to put those in my check bag and wear the heavy shoes.
Nice.
So I'm running through this whole thing in a pair of Jordan 1s that are not laced very tight. And my legs were on fire. And sprinting through this place. I got all the way over there, man. You have to go through another check and another passport control. It's just like redundancies, but you get all the way up. We were the last people through the door before they closed it. We barely made it. It was me and a couple behind me. Oh. We couldn't believe it. All of us were like big deep breaths getting on the plane. So I had to like sit on the plane. I cranked my air up and I was just sweating buckets, man. Poor lady beside me, man.
I was about to say.
She was just but I had to change the clothes, but I had to wait till I stopped sweating to go change, or else I would have sweat through that too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
As soon as it gave me the green light to get up and take my seatbelt off, I was like, there I went to the back and changed out, and I was like, man, this is so not what I wanted to do. The beginning of a start, because then I have a flight all the way to NYC and then NYC to Phoenix. So just one of those, but man, that's always the crazy thing. I don't know if you've seen this. I sent it to Javo so he can show it to us later. But there was a China traffic jam where millions of people were stuck in one traffic jam for holiday traffic.
Oh,
I did.
You saw it?
My first thought was like, man, what if somebody's on like less than like an eighth of a tank?
A ton of them were.
Yep.
They run out of gas.
Turn the car off and just.
There are people, and they don't have food. They don't have drink.
Right.
So people like impromptu pop their trunks and like sell whatever wares they were bringing to their stores. They're like going up and down like
pop-up market.
But I mean, like it was at nighttime as well. And it's like, it's just all tail lights for miles and miles and miles.
Oh my gosh.
And the way that their freeways come together, they have big mega freeways. They've done tons of infrastructure in the last 20 years. So they have more freeways than America does. And they have more trains than Europe does. That's how many people they have to move around.
Wow.
So the middle class has come up in a significant way. So everyone's buying cars, and they're making their cars cheaper, as nice as our cars, but way cheaper. Because I mean, the cost to do it is a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And so everybody has these cars. They're just gridlock. They're like these massive, 8-lane freeways are coming together into one 8-lane freeway. And so it's just like the thing I saw was wild.
Yeah.
Where they just got locked out. And it takes hours and hours and hours and hours for people to get unstuck.
So was the cause of it just the amount of people? Oh my gosh.
And then, it's like the brake theory where it's like the person brakes in front of you. Well, they can keep going, but now you're going to brake and the person behind you is going to brake. And so the impact of them braking actually doesn't affect them. It affects you and everybody behind you.
Affects the car 30 cars back.
Exactly. Now there's a wave of braking that they don't even see the start of where it started.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like a wave in the ocean.
Yep.
So same kind of concept. But I was like, dude, could you imagine being locked in traffic with millions of people That's a crazy concept.
That's a nightmare.
It's a crazy concept.
I have a hard time in California. I have a really
like
hard
405 or 5.
time in San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh,
My dad and I were on our way to Vegas, and there was an incident at the Hoover Dam.
Oh, right.
So it was back before they built that overpass,
right?
And so you had to go down through the Hoover Dam, and then around
across the top.
There was a motorcycle crash that happened down there, and we were gridlocked. And mind you, this is like before cell phones,
right?
So my dad's like, "Hey," to my mom, "Hey, I'll call you whenever we get there. Should be about this time."
Right.
We were gridlocked for about 3.5, 4 hours.
Yep.
And so like it's no way for my mom to know. She's calling the family like, "Hey, has he gotten there?"
Yeah.
That was one of the rougher traffic jams we've ever been in, and I definitely just crashed out.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and it's one of those things where, like, hopefully you can lean your seat back, crash out, hear a horn honk, and now you're ready to go.
Right.
But yeah,
That's
rough.
Brutal. Rough. I lived in LA because going to school out in California, so we dealt with that all the time. I was working, going different places, so I was in the traffic a lot, like in traffic at high traffic times. And it's just, man, one of those things where it's like something that would otherwise take us here in Phoenix maybe 15, 20 minutes to go somewhere, it would be an hour and a half. And you're just like, you know the distance on it. You're like, this is not far. But like in Alexandria, it's 7.5 million people, right? It's all vertical. So, I mean, it's not built to have tons of cars, but everybody has cars, you know, same thing. Like, and so you have taxis, cars, all sorts of stuff like that because the infrastructure is not super great. They've upgraded what they have, but it's just not doesn't handle the amount of people.
It wasn't designed for it.
No.
Right.
And so we were going to Carrefour, which is like their version of it's like a French chain that's like a Walmart. So it's like that, and it has a bunch of other
And what's
stores.
it called? Walfor?
It's called Carrefour.
Carrefour.
It's like four-way stop, essentially. What it's like an intersection is what it means in French. So it's like a place for you to go to get connected with whatever the goods are. So Carrefour. So we would go to Carrefour, and it was only like 7-8 miles away, but it took me 3.5 hours to get back because of the traffic.
How far?
Like 8 miles. It was like 8 miles away.
And I was running.
100%. Dude, you would have got way faster. You would have got home. That's right, Jenny. That's right, Jenny. 100%. That's exactly right.
Come on.
All right, so I want to talk about Paris. We're recording on a Tuesday, and yesterday on the Monday, people in Paris straight up heisted jewels out of the Louvre Museum. Did you see this?
I didn't see exactly what was stolen, but I heard about it. That is just wild. It was like Napoleon's crown jewels.
That's right. His crown jewel, their jewels, other jewels from the French royal families in the past. They used a cherry picking lift, which they use in Europe a lot to move goods because they don't have the staircases and stuff, infrastructure to move goods up and down. So if you're on an upper floor, which Paris only goes up to 7, so they can use this cherry picker and bring it up to the outside of your window, and then you'll move things in and out of your window. So they do couches, TVs, washers, whatever it is, out like that. It's very common. So these guys got one of those, stole one, essentially. They pulled it up outside the Louvre on this back corner of the Louvre. Parked it there. They're wearing high-vis vests. They look like it's all legit, like they're construction guys. They use the cherry picker, takes them all the way up to this second floor edifice, which is like really, really high because the Louvre is a palace, essentially. Sure. It's a works of art inside of a work of art. That's what they say.
Wow.
So, and I've taken to people, I mean, we lived in Paris for, almost 4 years. So I've taken so many people through the Louvre to go see the Mona Lisa, to go see all the different pieces. And so this is, like I've been in this room. I've seen this stuff a bunch of times. And I was just in Paris a week ago Monday. So I was just in the city walking around. These guys popped out. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning, dude. They just use this lift, go up to the top. They use like a side grinder. They just cut through the window casing, and they just pop into the room. And they use that same angle grinder and cut right through the glass. And the alarms are going off. People are just filming them on their phones like this. Doesn't matter. Just cutting right through the glass, pop out the jewels, and just bounce out the window. They go down the thing. Go away, get away on scooters. That's how they got away.
Wow.
They got away on scooters.
Did they get caught?
No.
How do you sell that, though? I understand there's black market trading and all that stuff, but like, you got to be kind of plugged in to that market.
It's priceless, right? I mean, they dropped one of the crowns, which was worth they say the diamonds in it's like 130 million or some crazy astronomical number. And so just the one crown, they dropped one of them. I think they got a bunch. They got a bunch of them, but one of the ones they dropped, like the whole top of it, are these massive diamonds and rubies and stuff. It's huge for the top piece of the crown. So it was really wild that they were like, this is what happened. They like had a full-blown jewelry theft, heist, like the
Yeah.
movie.
Man.
That is wild. I did not hear anything about that.
Dude, the internet memes are hilarious. Because it's like, they did it at 9 o'clock in the morning. Like, man, these thieves, they even have a better work-life balance than I do. That's hilarious.
I gotta take my kid to soccer practice at 3. I'm gonna hit the Louvre at 9. That's wild.
Dude, it's so funny. 'Cause it's the middle of the day. This is 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, they're just doing it. It was so crazy. So I thought that was really
Maybe that
interesting.
kind of helped them, though, right? You got the hustle and bustle of the city at 9 a.m.
I mean,
kind
the
of
thing is open.
Yeah.
People were in the
believe it.
Louvre. So, I mean, they just cut right into it and just were doing whatever. It's so crazy. Because it's like, if you try to go on the outside, there's like armed guards with machine guns and like, because it's a place that terrorists might want to think to try to do something because it's very famous. Tons of police, but it's all mainly on the outside or in the main areas.
Sure.
This is kind of the
Main entrance.
end of one of those corridors, but it's like
Genius.
all these jewels. You'd think there'd be somebody posted up.
Yeah.
Nope.
Wow.
I bet you the Louvre's going to be acting a little different here
Oh,
over the next
dude.
few months.
Could you imagine? You feel like the egg that you'd have on your face from being responsible from that, and like just they stole it.
Homeboy came in with a cherry picker and an angle grinder.
And then no guns, no nothing. They just went just brazen, dude. Just guts.
That's
to
wild.
Do
That's wild. That is a bold move, Cotton.
it. Bold mood. Okay, so this is me parlay into this question: have you ever stole something?
I see a gentle nod there.
Oh,
What you got?
yeah. I stole lots of things.
Lots of things.
Well,
I get it.
The thing I know that Angus stole was that you guys were on a rampage about getting everything from Denny's.
Yeah. Aside from stealing my wife's heart.
Hey, very
Okay,
good.
all
Very
right.
good.
Throw that one in there.
Small applause. Small
No,
applause.
so when and I've had to apologize for this. When we were in high school, that was the thing, was to take stuff from Denny's, and so we would go and it started off with just taking menus and stuff, but then my goal was to not need any dishes by the time I went to college.
Sick.
Oh no.
And
Old Gage respects that.
Old gold.
and
Oh,
I
no.
I had enough for 4 people to have dinner.
A meal, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Not only that, but I had a booster seat that my children
Ah.
all sat in.
I think you guys said you had trays. You had salt and pepper shakers.
I
funny.
had everything. I had the really cool cappuccino cups and all of that stuff. And then my sister took it to school to use for theater props and stuff. Like right as I'd gone into college, and it all got broken.
Mhm.
Whoa.
So I couldn't use any of it anyway.
Whoa.
The booster seat made it though. So
Was there anything that you stole that you were ashamed of stealing
all of
after
this-
the fact?
Years later, once I accepted Jesus, all of it.
Yeah, I want to reiterate we're not for stealing. I just want to put that back out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
after
just kidding.
Gage is
You sure
not-
about that?
Your Gage is not helping. For those who are not watching, Gage is like doing a shrug, like, no big deal.
Hey, I was all about stealing my wife's heart.
Hey, there you go.
yeah, so I mean, eventually I felt bad about all of it.
Okay.
At the time, no, it was a game. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, right.
Getting getting all that stuff out of there was a challenge.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've stolen tons of stuff, man. Tons of stuff.
Oh no.
I'm not even gonna front on it. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was kind of similar. I would go to different bars, and I'd always take one of the beer glasses, like for different breweries.
Uh-huh.
So like I had different brewery glasses all throughout
How do
the
you
house.
walk out with a cup?
You drink it, and then you pay your tab, and then you walk away with it.
Just walk out with
That's
your
it.
hand?
Brazen.
That's crazy.
They would have sent me to the Louvre. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like also little stuff like I remember they had like those little mini cast iron skillets that they would make
Okay.
like
Like
desserts in and
Pizookies or
stuff
whatever.
like that.
The
Yeah,
cookies and stuff.
I had a couple of those that like greased up real heavy and used them for like single frying eggs. And then like other ones that were pretty rough that like I remember one of the biggest ones where like me and a buddy, he stayed the night at my house. We went to a Safeway that's right behind our house.
Oh, sure.
And so we went under the wall, went to Safeway, had a backpack. It was like 10:30. Had a backpack. My buddy was wearing the backpack. because he didn't want to grab the bottle of alcohol and stick it in the bag.
Oh, got it.
So I was like, dude, whatever. Like, I'll do it.
One
So
of those
he
boost and run
Yep.
situations.
Yep. So he had the backpack on. We were walking down the aisle. I grabbed the Jack Daniels, slid into the bag, zipped it up. We like bought some donuts and left. Donuts got thrown out as soon as we walked out of the store, right?
Right.
We spent, like, I think we finished, and mind you, I didn't really drink. I didn't drink at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then you're drinking a handle of
It was a
JD.
fifth. It was a fifth. It wasn't a big handle. It was a fifth. It was still a good-sized bottle between two kids within a half hour.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So by the end of it, you know, we go over to these friends' house, and we're, like, absolutely belligerent, acting ridiculous. Go back to my parents' house. This is where it gets wild. Absolutely wild. My parents had these metal stands that sat right next to the front door. And so, like, I told my buddy, I was like, hey, all right, we got to be extra, extra quiet. Everybody's asleep. We got to lock in, man. Pay attention. I open up the door nice and slow. As soon as he walks in, he knocks over these metal stands, and they just, what a clatter.
Clang, clang,
Right?
clang.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he, like, looks at me and then darts into the bedroom and, like, jumps on the bed like he's asleep. And I'm trying to pick up these things, shut the door. And, of course, my mom,
Of course.
she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm just cleaning up.
Yeah, and
She's
you're
like,
all...
what do you,
Yeah.
Gage, come here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I go over there. Long story short, my buddy ends up getting taken to the hospital, getting his stomach pumped.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. They called his aunt. His aunt comes over to pick him up, and she's having to, like, pick his head up out of this bowl that he's puking into.
Oh,
Can't keep his head out
no.
of. Take him, get his stomach pumped. I'm sitting there like, my mom's making me, this is all very me being vulnerable. My mom's making me take a drug test in front of her.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which then, like, after I pee into this cup, I think there's enough of a gap there in the toilet. I'm just going to try and throw up from the sitting position into this hole.
My
Puke all over
goodness.
myself,
Of
my parents'
course.
bathroom. And so, like, it was I woke up the next morning, and my mom has 2 Tylenol and a glass of ice water. Said, sit down, we're going to talk.
Yeah.
And I guess my buddy, while he was at the hospital, is divulging all of our secrets.
All the information.
All the bad things that we had been doing. So, like, I was now gridlocked in this house. They put alarms and everything on the house, not to keep bad people out,
Keep you
but
in
to
it.
keep the good people in, is what they said.
No.
Oh yeah. It was the start of something new and crazy in my life.
Oh, man. That's so wild.
I had to go to the Safeway the next day and
Yep.
go to the manager
Yeah.
and apologize to the manager and pay for the alcohol,
Oh.
which he wouldn't take the money from me.
Right.
I
He
had to
take it
give the
from an
money to my
adult.
mom, and then
Yeah,
my mom
'cause you
gave
can't.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
right, of
all the
course, yeah.
legality stuff.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, that was definitely a big thing. I remember I stole a couple nuggets of weed out of
Uh-huh.
my mom's little, like, medicine container that she had in her purse
Uh-huh.
that she was holding for a friend.
Sure, yeah.
And so, like, I
Shout out Susie, I guess, question mark.
love you, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Oh, no.
So, like,
put your mom on blast.
no, honestly, I really don't think, because, like, even still, my dad smokes tons, but my mom doesn't.
sure.
So, like, she very well could have been just holding it for a friend, or, like, being the middleman in, like, a buying scenario.
Gotcha.
Because we know tons of out there people.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I took a couple nuggets out of there, and then my mom, like, a few days later, she's like, "Did you take weed out of my purse?" I was like, "You had weed in your purse?"
Yeah, like you didn't know.
She's like, "Don't play stupid. Did you take?" I was like, "Maybe." She's like, "That was for somebody. That wasn't mine for you to take." Just so ridiculous.
Yeah, so she was holding it for something.
Yeah. Another thing that my mom was holding was a big baggie of weed. I remember I got in trouble at school one time, and she's making me sit in the back of the car while my sister's at soccer practice. And, like, there's a little pouch in the back seat of the car. I'm sitting there. I'm just kind of, like, looking around, all slumped over, upset. And I look at this little Ziploc bag. It's got paper towel wrapped around a banana peel, and, like, it's a half-gallon Ziploc,
Oh.
halfway full.
Whoa,
Yeah.
the QP.
And I'm like, Mom!
Oh no!
I'm thinking, I just busted my mom. I'm not going to be in trouble anymore.
you-
that is not the way
That's
that
not
played
how
out
that works
at
no.
all.
Nope.
At all. I was
Nope.
more in trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Nope, I should
want
have
to
just
get
put that
involved
weed
in
back.
that. That's right.
Yep.
I didn't see anything. I don't know anything.
Yep. Hard lessons
right.
learned.
Man, it's interesting because, like, we grew up out here, and to you guys' point, it was like, unless it's nailed down, people would be stealing it, man.
Oh, yeah.
And even at the church, man, we've had tons of people break into stuff and steal things.
Yeah.
And we had the catalytic converters cut off of both of our
buses, yeah.
shuttles. in a previous stuff that we had. It's just a mess, man.
A few Christmas trees last year got
yeah,
stolen.
these guys walked up. We
Remember
have
that.
Christmas decorations outside of the church. These guys just walked up and boosted the trees, and I'm like, come on, man. And it's like we have them on video, but it's like, where are you gonna go find your tree? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's something more brazen than that, of course, so we get involved with that. But yeah, it feels that way here, where it's like, unless you have it nailed down, even if you do, people might boost it.
When I was in high school, the church right across the road up there, Desert Springs, they got boosted real heavy.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of kids that broke in the middle of the night and stole
Stole
all the
their
computers,
equipment.
all the equipment, stole everything out of the church.
Yep, and that's happened a bunch to other places we know. In fact, my friends, I was just talking with them, and they have a church in Vienna where people broke in. They put like a foil over the alarm and wedged a door where people couldn't see it, or taped the lock mechanism, and came up through a fire escape and popped out the other side, because it's on an upper floor of a place. But they went in and they took everything they could put their hands on, all their sound equipment, all their media computers, everything they had. They took it all. So super sad. I mean, even down Indian School, there's a Methodist church which they've stolen. The way I understood it is that they stole their air conditioning, that with the copper out of their air conditioning so many times that the insurance wouldn't insure them anymore.
Whoa!
Because they had it on the floor and not up on the buildings. So because of it, people had easy access. Even though it was in a cage, they use a torch and cut the cage open, and then they're cutting across their stuff. So terrible. But it made me think about something. Because I was talking with friends in Bahrain this week and other places, and I was thinking about what do you think? What's your take on losing a hand for theft?
Man,
Definitely a deterrent.
Definitely a deterrent for sure.
yes.
It'll make you consider whether or not you really want to steal that item or not.
Ooh, I was thinking about how many of my friends would have no hands.
I
wouldn't have hands. I wouldn't have hands.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, actually, maybe I would have learned after the first one.
Yes, you have one.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a deep hole to dive down. I agree. It's definitely a deterrent. Also, does somebody's entire life need to be affected because they stole a salt and pepper shaker? Also, I mean, there's levels to it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough.
It's
dude.
tough, man.
That's
it's
tough.
a super tough one.
Would you have all your hands, Jay?
Definitely not, bro. No, definitely not. No. There's a long story of that, but no, I would definitely not.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't be with us. The Lord, I'd be with the Lord.
Be with
Hopefully
the
with the Lord.
Yeah.
Probably not. But it would be a judgment
Hey, there was a
situation.
thief on the cross. You know
That's
what I mean?
true, and hopefully I would have embraced him and been in paradise with him. Praise the Lord.
That's it.
Something to think about, as we think about how petty it is in the States, but like in other places, real serious.
Yeah, because
So-
what is it? It's not punishable if it's theft under $1,000 or something. There's like
Yeah,
it's a
in some
misdemeanor
places,
versus a
Yeah.
felon.
They changed
It
that.
depends on where
And
you're
then it
at,
flexed it back. Yeah, that was in California. In Arizona, it was not like that. It was,
No.
It's the normal rules. It's like $200 or whatever the normal number is.
Okay.
It made it a felony.
I remember
So-
my buddy, he got busted one time because he tried to steal a sweater
Oh yeah.
from like a JCPenney's
Yeah,
while he
yeah,
was
yeah.
with his mom. And that was a whole story too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Mama definitely was hitting him heavier than the cops were.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I've seen that. I've seen the cops that came to like get the person have to hold the parent back from just like throwing hands at their kid, putting them in the bad place because of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Hey, part of what we talk about here is the 7 C's, and those are commitment, community, communication, competence, creativity, compassion, and celebration. Thinking about this idea of community today, I thought there was something pretty funny here. I want to play the audio for you guys, and we'll hopefully have the video up for you guys here. But this was something that I had seen in multiple places, and then shout out Relevant Magazine, they ran it back as well. But check this lady out.
Y'all too comfortable blowing up church bathroom for me, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. You went all week, all Saturday night, had breakfast, got dressed, and was like, I'm going to say this for church. I'm going to leave my all in the stall. That ain't what the song said. The song said leave your all on the altar. Why do y'all do that? Why do y'all bring that to the house of the Lord? You could have did that at your house. And y'all don't try to spray or courtesy flush or nothing. You just let it minister to you and the people. I didn't want to smell that. I walked by a bathroom last Sunday and I was like, that can't be human or holy. I said, that's got to be straight from hell. Why do y'all do that?
You're too comfortable blowing up church bathrooms.
You sit there and let it minister to you.
Oh man, she's great. You could tell she's in the car, like
Yeah.
at church or just had been at church because
Just
looks
dealt
fire.
with it.
Yeah,
Just dealt with the problem.
hilarious. Take about it's not holy at all.
Hey man, Lord's house be casting stuff out. You know what I mean?
Dude, well, here's the deal. I worked as a janitor at this church, man, for years, and people, that is no joke. She's 100 on that. People would come in here and I'm like, dude, come on, man. It would be death.
You need to see a doctor.
You walk in the room, there's like a paste
Huh?
in the air.
I'm faced.
Bad.
Oh no.
Well, here's the deal. And like as a young guy, like you're figuring things out, but I had to clean out all the sanitary stall things for the women's bathroom too.
Okay.
So you're like trying to grapple with all these things, man, and come together with understanding. It's a mess. And so, yeah, man, she made me laugh so hard because I was like, dude, I align with her thought process. Dude, you can't be coming, you were at home, you doing all this stuff, had a breakfast, and then brought that to church.
You had time. You had time to deal with this outside of the Lord's house.
She said she's supposed to leave and you're all at the altar and not you're all in the stall. That's crazy. That's craziness.
You don't even courtesy flush. You just let it minister to you.
It's wild, man.
That's terrible.
I thought that was so funny.
That's
Because if you're really
absolutely
somebody who's trying to build community, you're not going to do that, man. Not to the church, not to the church bathroom. That's mean.
Yeah, pretend your pastor's in the stall next to you.
Give a courtesy flush. Do something.
Something, man.
It's true, man. Oh man, it made me laugh so hard. I was like, that is some funny stuff.
Man.
There's been some interesting stuff I've seen recently, like kind of a resurgence of people talking about Jesus themes in like popular culture and movies.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ones I was thinking about that you see, obviously the kind of the example of the savior is stuff like Star Wars, like the kind of the classic where you have like, the person who comes and saves the day and kind of they're foretold that they were going to be the chosen one.
Okay.
Or like the Matrix, different ones like that. Anything else that you guys think of, like different ones that you've seen where you're like, oh, this is kind of a Christ figure or a Christian style figure?
Well, there's the Lord of the Rings,
Yep.
Gandalf.
Yep. That Dune series that just came out, they had that guy who they called like the Lisan al-Gaib,
Yeah.
right? And he was like supposed to be that guy where
chosen
people
one.
came before and like promoted this thing or like planted seeds so that one day when it did happen that it would be foretold.
Right. Yeah. Interesting as far as the narratives, like
Yep.
how people weave that right into common culture and into popular culture so often.
Yeah.
Like even the old, like some would argue, like even the old, like shoot 'em up big, kind of war style movies like Schwarzenegger and Stallone, like it's like one guy coming to save the day.
Sure,
it's like
yeah.
a superhero style thing. So
Alien vs. Predators.
I don't know where Jesus is at in that one, but
Schwarzenegger.
okay, I believe.
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
One guy saving the world from Predator.
From
No, I said Alien vs. Predator.
You said
Yeah,
Alien
anyways.
versus Predator. I was like, which one? Which one's Jesus? Is it
I
the
don't know.
Predator or
I
the
don't know.
aliens?
I don't know. I'm out on that one. That's my bad. That was terrible delivery.
No, it was okay. It was a stretch. I was trying to walk with you, but I don't know where it was going. So.
I don't know. I'm here for you. I think.
I do love how, like, there is the redemption arc that people try to put in narratives. I think that's inherent to who we are as people, is that we know that we need a savior. And so I think so many of our stories and the narratives that we tell, that they're tied to this concept of a saving figure in one way or another. Someone to come
Sure.
to save the day, someone to step up and give sacrificially of themselves, and that whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that's a narrative you see so often, in movies. I was just watching one of the Mission Impossibles, and it's like, hey, I'll stay behind and I'll do the thing. Oh, but you won't be able to get away. It's okay. They're being sacrificial for the team and for the movement of what they're trying to accomplish. So really interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I like the concept, right? Especially that's playing out in different places. Yeah, I think there's so many things that as you develop a life with Christ, you can look back on, whether it be songs or movies, and you can start to tie in, like instead of it being this person, you're thinking of this person as Christ, right? Or especially in songs too, where like you hear these lyrics and then you start applying it to like a Christian walk rather than a worldly walk.
Right.
And it starts to also have correlations in that place. So yeah.
That's absolutely true. Man, one of the things that I've seen recently that's kind of been a parallel to this, talking about community of faith, we obviously share our faith with people around the world, worldwide. Those are our brothers and sisters in Christ. And one of the things that's been the hardest is seeing kind of what the report what's been happening in Africa and Nigeria specifically, with thousands of people being martyred for their faith in Christ. and seeing, the church having to do mass graves because of how many people have lost their lives. And it really broke my heart. I was thinking about that a lot. I'm thinking about, even in our context, how that's the reason we have to have a safety team at church, is provide safety for the people that come, because we've had incidents, man, where people are coming in and attacking churches and doing these other things, even here in America.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. It absolutely breaks my heart.
Yeah, exactly. Heartbreaking.
But I give all the credit to them for not denying their faith, but staying with their faith in
Absolutely.
Jesus all the way to the end.
Lord be praised.
That's right. The Lord be praised. One of the things that it did spark in me, though, was, have you guys seen this movie, The Machine Gun Preacher?
No.
You seen this?
No.
It's actually, I think it's played by Gerard Butler, I think, is the actor playing it.
Really?
But it's made after a real guy. He was like a rough and tumble kind of dude that went down and felt real compassion to go to this specific place in Africa where it was a lot of the child soldiers are being taken and that type of thing. And so they had kind of essentially got a bunch of the kids that got stolen back by these warlords. And then the warlords come in to try to get him, but he like gunned up and they fought back. So it's like this whole story about, it's a really interesting thing. You think about like a shepherd, think about pastors and, like doing like more things in the community, not doing that. But this guy was like, no, we're going to rally around and Alamo this situation and like fight back and do these things. It was really controversial, very insightful to think about.
I think I love that concept. I love it. I love the idea of standing up for what you believe in and going down with a fight.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about that concept of going down with the fight?
Well, I mean, I think if there are some wolves that are coming after your sheep as a shepherd, you're not going to just let the wolves take the sheep down.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna fight to save them, because those are yours and those are not.
Right.
And so I think that if you would protect sheep, how much more would you protect the people, in your life?
Yep.
And I think that I think most people here at Cornerstone would agree that this really is a family, and so it's not just a collection of strangers who come.
Right.
I think about that all the time. That I think back to COVID, and I think about in the future as the Bible plays itself out. Just watching the community as it comes together, and we saw that a lot in COVID. Just as people were there to help each other out and do those kinds of things. It wasn't an every man for himself situation.
Right.
Praise. How do you think that all relates to turning the other cheek?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and that's why I bring it up, because I feel like there is a piece with turning the other cheek. I think turning the other cheek is not about that. It's about shame. And so I feel like it's more of like when someone strikes you upon your cheek, that obviously that's a thing that's more of a personal altercation. That's not a war situation. If you're fighting a war, you didn't see David going to the Philistines and turning the other cheek.
Tell it.
Now, that's Old Testament versus New Testament.
Right.
So two different things. But it is one of those things where, he went in and it was a real war, real battles. These are real consequences, real people fighting real battles. And so there's a piece of that where it's really about shame. So the idea is that, Christ is saying you belong as a child of God, and so you can turn the other cheek, because it's not you being shamed where you now need to attack and get even with this person. You can rise above it for that reason. The other side of it, even like where I've even heard it with like the cloak in your tunic too, is that they're asking for your outer garment, which was like your expensive garment. And they were saying, no, you give them the other piece too, because it leaves you naked, which is now shaming on them.
Yeah.
And so it takes the shame and flips it back on the person who's trying to take.
Sure, kind of like going the extra mile.
Going the extra mile. It's like, it's like, no, I'll prove to you that this is beyond those things. You're making me do this. I choose to do this.
Yeah, because the way I had heard the extra mile part, because I know it all plays into context and everything, but the way I'd heard the extra mile was that at the time the Roman soldiers, they were allowed to make you carry something for a mile.
That's right.
But they couldn't let you take it more than one.
Correct. So by doing it, you're essentially shaming them back.
Yeah.
Or proving to them that you're taking back the onus in your own power and saying, no, this is on me. It's my choice. So it's just a really interesting idea. And so Jesus is kind of talking about, us being willing to go through shame for him, but at the same time be those people who have resolve to us. So I think there is a piece for that. I think there's a piece where you can stand up for it, and it's not a wrong thing at all. I think it's like a just war, a just battle. And I think there's a piece of that for sure. I don't think we go looking for fights, but I feel like the idea is that there's nothing wrong with you standing and being the person that protects and cares for those who can't protect themselves.
Yeah, you don't go starting cutting off good parts of your body, but when there's cancer, you cut that you
For
cut
sure.
that.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Is like I've kind of gone rounds around this and thinking about it, about man, God's grace on us, and that for the most part, that's not had to been my experience as a pastor. There's been occasionally where people did act out, and we've had to kind of step up and be assertive towards that, and not in a fighting way, but being willing to be the one that steps between harm's way and the people that would otherwise be harmed.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm totally for that. It was interesting. We were talking about this past weekend. We have friends of ours that were with us, and they work in Bangkok. They pastor International Church and work in the red light, helping women come out of that lifestyle.
Lord be praised.
And many of them, yeah, absolutely. Many of them have been in that lifestyle because they're forced to do so, or they didn't have any other option. They got in very young. She told a story of a girl who went into that lifestyle at 11. And I was thinking about my daughters. I have one who's 15. I have one who's 12. And she was talking about this girl who's now 15. She went in when she was 11. She's now 15. And I just was, man, it like really broke my heart. It really broke me thinking about this girl who, it would be Shiloh's. She's Shiloh's age across the world somewhere. But her life is so radically different than Shiloh's life. And about like what she's had to endure. And I was talking to a friend of ours that's here at church, and he was saying, there's groups of guys that go and they're like retired police officers or FBI or different things. They go and hunt down these people that do this stuff.
Lord be praised.
And they get girls out, and they deal with the people. And I was just like, you know what? There's something to that. There's a righteousness to that feels to me very much like Abraham going after Lot and stealing him back from the people that stole him. And I'm like, man, there's something there. So
yeah, I agree. 100%.
The Lord help us navigate that with wisdom, not be those who are like angry and trying to get it, and seeing it like that, but in the way that when it's the time and the right situation, to be those people that step up and be bold and be brave.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's something I wrestle with regularly at serving with the church, because I serve with security.
Yep.
So every time I come here, that's when I'm serving, and even when I'm not, that's one of the things where like we've taken that commitment to, when trouble arises or when confrontations come into play,
right,
we want to be the ones who step in for the people who aren't capable of taking care of themselves.
Right. Try to disarm it first.
Yes.
And then if not, be willing to step up. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Be that middleman between problems and the people that we love.
Yeah. And we've talked about it more of as safety. The reason we talk about it from safety, not just security, is because safety is more than that. It's providing like both that and medical and other things.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
That's kind of the route that we've gone. And I think there's something really valuable for that. So,
yeah, especially with
thankful.
A lot of the older people that we have at our church. It's something that's definitely more likely than anything else that we will be having to deal with,
And we've had to stabilize people. They something happens, and obviously we're going to stop and pray for them, but we're also going to give them medical attention.
Yes.
And help them out and get them to a safety. And that's been amazing to see the team jump in, because we have people that are nurses and firefighters and all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
And so medical professionals and people that have been police officers and federal officers and different things. So it's really cool to see them jump in and really use their skill set.
Shouts out Steve Rodriguez for running the safety team,
peeps,
coordinating all these wonderful
that.
Training sessions and keeping everybody knowledgeable and prepared.
That's right. Yeah, we were doing Stop the Bleed not too long ago.
Yeah.
And these ham hocks and everybody learning how to pack a wound and stuff.
Yep.
And it's such a good skill to have. And we had a whole bunch of our people go through it, which is awesome. So,
Absolutely.
Really good. Ephesians 3:20-21 says, "Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all we ask or think, according to the power at work within us, to him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen."
Amen.
And that's just my heart, is that, that the Lord can be our provision and give us more than we ask or think. He can give abundantly. If that be bravery, if that be provision, if it be peace. So we don't have to be the people that do that. But the Lord give us the wisdom in those times so that we can do the right thing.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Hey, we're also talking about competence, and we've got to the end of one of our books that we've been looking at. So I was wanting to look at this other book called The Power of Habit. And the habit's on my desk downstairs, so I forgot to bring it to show it to you guys, but I'll bring it next time. The first thing it's talking about is The Power of Habit is about this idea of the habit loop. And the concept that he brings about to it is talking about how it's a cue and the routine and a reward. So the cue starts the routine that's tied to it, and then there's a reward that comes from it. And they talk about that like with training animals or rats or whatever to run a maze. where they cue it with a sound or they cue it with something, then it runs a path or runs some kind of a deal, a habit, and then it has a reward that's tied to it. And so often that's how our lives are actually built. It's not on, we think a bunch of it is decisions. It's actually a decision to make the habit, because the habits is really what drives us. You know, like what order you do your routine in the morning. Do you shave your face or brush your teeth first? You know what I mean? Or what do you do? And so they're saying that that's the habits that you have. So if at the end of every meal you think, oh, I need something sweet, well, then you'll go eat something sweet, and then you'll break your diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they say so many of the things is like resetting your cues, so that if you follow that cue, I think whatever some people say, it's like 7 days, 21 days, whatever the different marker is, it'll build in a new habit that becomes ingrained. And then it's just, this is the new habit that we do. So I'll give you an example from my life. One of the things that I wanted to do was stop smoking. So I smoked for a few years, and it was started socially with people and hanging out and chilling and whatever. And then it was a habit. And it was like a pack a day, 2 packs a day. And, you know, you're smoking Marlboro Reds or No Filter Lucky Strikes or something. It's just the worst. Yep. And there was like, you'd get up in the morning and have, you know, like you get up and have a cigarette, and then you'd have a cup of coffee, and then you'd eventually have another cigarette. But it was like, you know, every time you had like a drink, if you were drinking, even having a beer, even if you weren't getting faded, you needed a cigarette.
Habit,
yeah. So, and actually, in order to stop smoking, I had to stop drinking. And even though it wasn't like partying or anything, it was just having like a drink, I had to stop doing that because I couldn't do that and not smoke.
Sure.
Like it was so tied together. It was the cue with the routine, and my reward was the hit from the nicotine and that other side. So I had to quit doing that just to break that off and break that habit in my life.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how those things can cue what goes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like Pavlov's dog, where they ring the bell and
Yeah.
they start salivating because they're waiting for the treat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you guys have an example of a habit?
For me, it's sugar at night. You know, that was one of the things, and I was doing really good at it for a long time, and I fell off the wagon this summer. You know, there was just too many sweets available, and but for me, in fact, that was one of the things that when I started seeing my naturopath, what was happening was you could set your clock by it. At 10 o'clock, it would go, like just an alarm would go off in me, and I had to have at least 4 Oreos and a glass of milk.
Oh, wow.
And since
Nice.
I've
That sounds glorious.
well, and I've
Lord be praised.
I understand now that what you're doing is you're basically drugging yourself so that you're ready for sleep later.
Oh, right.
And it was real simple. All she gave me chromium, which is a supplement. And so what I found is if I took it and if I could wait half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour, that craving
kick in and be gone.
Yeah. So if I could take it by at least 9:30, then that craving wouldn't show up at 10, and then I wouldn't have
Eat the cookies.
I wouldn't eat the cookies. So.
Man, those are dangerous too, man.
Oh yeah.
I know some people in this. I think it's wisdom in that, but they won't even put them in the house. So then you can't even start the queue to get the thing going.
I need to start getting rid of the sugar in my house.
Then it's a tough one. I have a shout out Tony Sebastian and Hannah, a couple people, friends of mine I just saw in Cyprus. They're like no refined sugar at all. Like don't do any of it, and been doing that for years. They don't do any. Like so that means no sweets, no cake, no pie, no nada. So like not at a birthday, not at any time. They just don't do it. They don't do a pain au chocolat. They don't do anything. So they'll do honey, like for a sweetener. If they want to have something sweet, they'll do something natural, but they won't do any refined sugars.
So like, do they consider stevia?
I don't think they even go that route.
Sure.
I think they don't do, because they're not doing the chemical stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like kind of trying to do really, and they're healthy. I mean, they're
that's awesome.
Wow.
It's a lot, but they had to kind of make that resolve and do the piece, and it's
monk fruit's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
like monk fruit.
Yeah,
the big monk fruit tree I have in my yard. Therefore, no,
Oh dear heavens!
No, I don't have
Oh
anything.
dear heavens!
No, my point is like I don't even know about this stuff until they're like,
Sure.
oh no, you can use it as a sugar substitute. I'm like, where does it come from?
Yeah.
Where
I've
do
never
they?
seen a fruit of a monk.
That's right. Where are these monk fruits that you just speak of?
Does it look like a monk?
Yeah,
Does it just-
I have no idea. Even if you were like, what is it here, and showed me a bunch of stuff, I'm like, I don't know.
Is this fruit practice Tai Chi? Is that what this is?
Is this Fruit Ninja? What are we doing here? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So power of habit, you know, if you want to do something positive, then start a new habit. Or if you want to do something positive by breaking a habit, you have to start with your cue, and then you'll change your reward.
That's
So
good.
interesting thing to
That
talk
is
about.
good.
So,
Yeah.
we also talk about the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. The one we want to talk about today is called the law of intuition. Go with your gut. So they're saying how many times people will second guess themselves when their natural intuition was actually correct.
Yeah.
You ever had a situation where you're like, man, I'm glad I went with my gut?
Yeah. You know, I've realized since allowing Holy Spirit to become more a part of my life, that's become more of a thing.
Amen.
You know,
Yeah.
with this, you know, and I think that's what some people would explain as a gut feeling. It's
Right.
really a check from the Holy Spirit
Yep.
who's doing that. And so so I've had a lot of different experiences, even in body working when I was doing massage on people. You know, when I would typically want, you know, my protocols or whatever that I learned in school would have me do something this way, but instead I would do it a different way because it would be more protective of a joint or whatever. You know, so there've been lots of times that you know, I've had those gut feelings, and that's what I chalk it up to as Holy Spirit.
I agree.
Just-
Yeah, I think that's right. I think he gives us wisdom in that way and guidance. Absolutely. Gage, what about you, man? What guts? You seem like somebody who goes by their gut.
Yeah, it's usually when the vast majority of the time when I'm going by my gut, it's usually with people.
Okay.
But a lot of the times there's been people who have come around and I'm like, there's something off. I don't trust this person. I wouldn't want them in the house with my little sister. I wouldn't want them in the house with just my family or one-on-one outside of like big get-togethers where they show up.
Right.
I just don't trust this person. And a lot of the times they're people that other people really love and love to have around and trust. But there's just been a few people in certain circumstances that it's come to show that this off feeling, my gut of telling me not to trust this person or not to put myself or my family in a circumstance with them, it's played out outside of my family where you see that there was a reason for that and the decisions they were making.
All right. It makes sense. I mean, I think that goes back to what Angus was sharing about.
Yeah.
You know, as we have an active relationship with Christ, I mean, Holy Spirit will speak to you and give you insight in ways, especially as we ask Him to do so. So
That's
I think
it.
it's right on. But I think He also naturally gives us as a piece of who we are. There's an intuition that goes there. And I think it's because we're broken people. We understand brokenness a little bit, and you can kind of cue in on that. You're like, this is not right. You know, I'm thankful. I had that happen a lot when I was young, and even though I wasn't making great decisions all the time, one of the ones I'm really thankful for is that I didn't get tied up in the wrong relationship.
Yeah.
Because there were people that I was dating that they were, I mean, beautiful woman, very gifted, amazing, like skill set, very smart, all the other things, but they had a thing in them where they wanted to socially climb and be a certain way and live a certain lifestyle and things like that. That wasn't the trajectory that I needed to go in my life. But, you know, they were confessing their love to me, that they wanted to be together and have a future, et cetera, et cetera. And man, having not gone with that because I didn't feel right in my gut, I mean, out the outside, it looked like I was a moron. It's like, what are you passing up, man? This is a great opportunity. This is a beautiful person, et cetera, et cetera. But so thankful that I did not do that, because it was not the right one, let alone that later I'm blessed with my amazing wife and that kind of thing. I mean, that wasn't even in the picture at the time. That was years later. But, you know, it's one of those things where I'm so thankful that I didn't go down that path, because fast forward, what do? The husband that they did get married to divorced them. Why? They wanted a bigger, better deal. They wanted something else. Maybe they divorced the second guy or didn't even get committed to that guy and upgraded to the next guy. So it's like kind of like, you know, monkeys on the vine kind of thing.
Sure,
you know, they're climbing from one to the next. And that's, you know, I think many of us, and guys and girls, we can all do that. But that was in this case, that was the situation. And I'm so thankful that I'm like, man, wow. I just seriously avoided heartbreak, disaster, all sorts of stuff by listening to my gut on that.
I wish I'd listened to my gut so much more when it came to that.
Yeah.
Because I wound up in a few like very toxic, unhealthy relationships that spanned over the course of a couple years and different instances that just, you know, definitely could have lived a life much better and gotten to better places a lot sooner.
Right.
If I hadn't gotten involved in places where like, I know this probably isn't the right thing.
Right.
But it feels fun.
Right. Well, and the point is, like, obviously, in most of these cases, the person is like, they have a lot of attributes that would attract you to them. So it makes sense that they're, you know, smart and beautiful and this and that and gifted in some way or the other. but it doesn't mean that's the right fit for you,
Right.
and that you're going the right direction.
Yeah.
I explain a lot of times to young people as we talk about relationships. I'll say how you're kind of starting out and feels like you're headed towards each other, but actually you're headed past each other because your ambition is to go this other way, and it feels like you're really headed right towards each other, but it's not that way. Whereas if you get people that are on the right alignment, where they're really they're focused towards God, the closer they get to God, the closer they get to each other.
Yeah.
And so that's really the big difference, and seeing how that works, in our lives as Christ followers. And even we don't get it right all the time. It's like we can still work that out. We still ask for forgiveness, still come together, reset. Let's put this back into alignment. And I think that has all the big difference,
That's so good. Yeah.
Yep.
Lord, help us have that kind of intuition,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
kind of insight. All right, we're going to hit some rapid fire. We do 7 questions on the end of this thing. So I'll ask both you guys, and then I'll answer as well. Angus, first with you. Are you a quick or cautious decision maker?
It all depends on the situation.
I agree. But give me like a percentage, plus or minus. Which one do you think?
I'm typically I'll make faster decisions. I think overall, just because I process pretty quick
Right.
anyway, and so I run so many scenarios that I pretty much come to an answer pretty quick. But I guess for weightier decisions like where to move, where to
Sure,
work, those
yeah.
kinds of things, I'm going to take a longer time to
Right.
to make sure that I really hear from God. But other than that,
Fast and
it's
pray and
pretty-
have alignment
it's
with
like,
your
let's
wife.
just go.
There you go.
If I don't feel a check, as I'm going on the way, then it's pretty much like pretty quick.
Yeah, it's good. Gage, what about
100%. I'm same.
Same.
Exact same. Yeah, my wife's usually the more cautious decision maker, whereas I'm pretty quick on making these decisions. Like one of the things, like my wife's staying an extra couple weeks in Seattle, and she had brought it up to me. I was like, yeah, that's absolutely what I think you should be doing.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't know. So we prayed about it. We sat on it for a little bit, but
Right.
like I had made the decision early on, like this is what you should do. This is what should happen. She's worried about the logistics of the
Right.
boys and everything else, but that ties into so many other different circumstances where I'm like, yeah, let's do it this way.
Right.
She's worried about logistically how things are going to play out, and I'm just always so confident that things are going to work out.
So you
know
had to
what I
make
mean?
a
As long
quick
as-
decision to commit to whatever it takes to get this
Yep.
thing done.
Yep. The sooner we start, the sooner it gets done, the sooner we can get on to the rest of the decisions we need to make moving forward in life.
Yeah.
And as long as we're aligned with God, right, aligned in our relationship, and we're praying and fasting over these things, I trust that when the circumstance comes up, and I have this comfort and this confidence in a decision or a direction, I can usually trust it
Yeah.
and
that's
go that
good.
way.
That's good. I'm the same. I agree with you guys. That's how I am. I think mostly, Angus, we work together, so he sees that like on my decision making. Sometimes I want to take a little bit more time because the ramifications of it. Other times it's like, let's do this and this and this and this and this, and we'll crank stuff out, man, because we're just like know where we're going. We've already pre-talked about this is the destination. These are the rungs we're going down this ladder. Let's go for it, and we'll just knock them out. And that's really helpful. But it is very much about what it is we're doing and how big the decision is. Because if it's a bigger decision, especially organizationally, you can't make fast decisions on stuff, because if you do, you move the boat too fast, everybody falls off the boat. So a bigger, older boat, you have to take longer to turn the boat. So that's why sometimes you need to, you have to bring people in on the communication side and let them have time to think about it and process it and reinforce why you're doing something. So all those things are really important. Even if I want to make a decision really fast and just move the stick, doesn't quite work like that.
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was with youth too, is planning events and stuff. Like we just had a lock-in, but that's one that you like. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, but you have to consider having students here overnight.
Right.
Have
enough team to do that. Yes.
What does that
That's
look
right.
like? And so like, what are you gonna do to occupy all of them and stuff? And so even within that, there could be a quick decision, but then there's a lot of other sub decisions that need to come as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're like, yes, we should do lock-in. You're like, okay, that means we have to work on all these other decisions too.
Yeah.
All right. Second question. Listen first or speak first? Gage, what do you think?
I like the concept of listening first, and I think it's something I need to work on. I think you should be listening first in all circumstances. That way you can evaluate and move forward. Sometimes I'm just a little too quick to speak my mind.
Okay.
Rather than letting, like, my wife and I have this all the time where, like, she wants to get 10 things out and talk about these 10 different things in succession, but as she's talking about it, I want to pick each one apart and talk about it as we go through. That way, at the end of the 10 things she wants to say, I'm not like, okay, then you said this, and then I think you said, did you say something about this?
Yeah.
Right. So I want to pick these things apart rather than just listening.
Right.
And being, I think I can get a lot better at listening.
That's good.
Something I should practice.
Yeah.
That's it. Angus?
No, I would agree. I definitely need to listen first, but again, I think it's part of that ADHD side of things.
Sure.
You know, that you've already heard what they're gonna say. You've already thought about what they're gonna say, and you've already got a response. And so for me, sometimes it's like, I already know where you're going with that sentence. Let me just finish it for you. You know,
just jump right in and cut them off.
You know, and so I think what I need to do to motivate that change is just to slow down. You know,
I think a lot of the times too, like I've seen you do great at listening. I've seen you be a wonderful listener and very empathetic.
I have to be in a mode.
Yeah, but I've seen you transition. It's like a switch, especially like whenever, you know, and I think it's something that I'm also capable of to an extent, is like whenever somebody needs help or somebody comes to you for guidance or for counsel on something, you have to flip that switch of like, okay, I don't need to talk to them until they tell me everything that's going on, and I can help process. I need to process through what they're dealing with so then I can help them better. And so I think I've seen you listen magnificently. Like you've done a great job of listening.
Tell
so.
my wife. Tell my
Annie.
Make sure that they know.
Shout out Annie. You know,
Shouts out Annie.
So
Shouts out the McLeods.
No, I've done it once or twice. I've listened well once or twice in my household. So
that's funny.
I believe it. I believe it.
I'm same boat. I mean, there's a reason why we're on a podcast as people who talk. So you know what I mean? I think we lead out with talking. Yeah, I mean, I think especially when I was younger, man, I didn't need anybody else. I could talk to myself in a room. You know what I mean? We have both sides of conversation. Yeah. Now I was in college debate. You know what I mean? I was in, you know, this is like what was in my wheelhouse, man. It's I could argue both sides of anything and just pick a fight for just to pick it. Yeah. So
that's funny.
Definitely have had to learn to listen, shut up and listen. There's a reason you have one mouth and two ears.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak. And there's a lot in the word, man. The word that gives us talks about that, you know, about fools flapping their mouth. And
even fools that stay quiet seem wise.
Yeah, that's true. And the reason they seem wise is because they're aligning themselves with the wisdom, which is listening. Yeah. So there's something to that for sure. All right, paper notes or digital?
I love paper.
Yeah?
I love paper. I love pen and paper. I think my last job was so aggravated because they wanted me to type everything out in these Excel sheets or like and notes on Apple and then forward it to them digitally. Yeah. And I would just write everything out and take pictures of all my, and like I don't have sloppy handwriting either. So it's like very legible, easy to read, but they just want everything like, it's like, well, it is digital. You got a picture of it. Like this is how I operate. It's all paper. I prefer it.
That's good. Are you organized?
Yes.
With your paper?
Yes, absolutely. When it comes to like planning and materials and all the different things, everything, like in the last place I was at, I had a big binder with all the dates and then material lists and notes and everything all sectioned out in different colored pins for what kind of material it was or where it went. And then everything was separated.
So you really had it all rocking and rolling.
Yeah, whenever I'm in charge of something, I need to know where everything's at and what's going on, what's about to happen, where I need my guys. A lot of people are able to process it differently and like kind of wing it, which I'm capable of doing, but I feel much more confident in the decisions I'm making when I know what I have and what's coming.
That's sharp. That's sharp. Do you feel like you could transition that to digital?
Yeah, I feel like if it was a necessity and I didn't have the option to do it, I think it's something that I would have to learn.
Like a pen and a pad or something like that.
Yeah,
digital one.
Yeah, writing on, like I've seen a lot of people write on their iPads with the little Apple Pen or whatever. And it seems like it's a useful tool and tip. I just like the feeling of paper. For sure. And being able to cycle through it like that. So it's like tactile. Organizationally, I would have to learn a lot of tricks and become proficient in like, okay, I have these documents in this file. And like that's a great way to organize things and have them accessible for other people on a moment's notice. Yep. Rather than like having to flip back through pages and take pictures of certain things so other people understand what I'm talking about. Yes. So I think it's definitely something that I could learn and that would be beneficial for me moving forward. But as of right now, I am most confident and comfortable in paper.
That makes sense. Angus, what about you, man?
I'd say digital.
Really?
Just because well, first off, I'm not a huge note taker just to begin with.
Sure, yeah.
Because I miss too much when I'm writing down what or putting down what I'm trying to already take in. So I'm not a very good note taker just in general. But I find that I have my phone pretty much with me wherever I go, and so. I like the talk to text. I like the record function, those kinds of things, so that I can always go back. But I always have that. Whereas I have no idea where, possible piece of paper is, or
Where the paper went, yeah.
or what
That's
it
funny.
was. Yeah. Because one of my children may have colored on it, or I may have
Colored on it.
thrown it into the back seat of my car.
Yeah,
God only knows where that stuff is. So,
That's fun.
That's fair.
but I have a few ways to find my phone, and so because of that, that's why I like to keep all my notes and information right there.
You're
There is some
locked in.
really good positives to that. Like with my wife and I, whenever we're doing, we'll do grocery lists on our notes.
Yeah.
That way you could share the note.
Yeah, we
and
do
then
that.
as she goes through the store, she can check off different things. Like if we have one list, she's going to Sam's Club, I'm going to Walmart to give different parts of the list. We can check everything off
And you see it live.
and check in. Like, okay, this hasn't been gotten. She's about to leave. I should probably go look for this while I'm here.
Instead of like talking to your carrier pigeon, like,
Yeah.
and then throw it. That's right.
Yeah.
Tell Janaea I got the milk.
Sending smoke signals
That's
from
right.
Walmart
That's right.
in the camping section.
Man, I love the tactile feel of paper. I love reading a paper book. I think it's like there's something to that.
Sure.
I really liked writing with like in a moleskin notebook and like writing like that. I used to do that a lot as I would travel. I would write and carry one with me and just hole up in a place and write in my notebook and just kind of get some different things. But I had to learn the hard way because I ended up, when I left Paris, I was headed to the Middle East, and at the time you couldn't bring in certain books and things like that. So I essentially gave all of my books away, my whole library, minus one bin. And I had like tons of books. I mean, walls of books, sometimes double, like two depth,
Yeah,
two times
stacked.
two. So, I mean, it was a lot to give away. And I mean, we gave it to a good source, friends of ours that run a ministry, and they still had a really good life to them and stuff like that. They still are a part of something. But it was one of those things that really hurt. So even though I still have a whole wall full of books now back in my office now, every time I buy a book, I buy a digital book because for the same reason. I can take it with me. It's in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like I can go back and reference it. I can throw it up on screens and make it much bigger if I'm needing to reference it for doing study and things like that. So, but it's not the same as having a paper book and highlighting. I like to highlight. I like to write in the margins. I love that. I love the feel of it. I love the look of it. I love how when you go back. And yeah, you can highlight books and all. I do that. I write notes to them, but it's not the same.
Agreed.
Not the same feeling. So, and even though I have a pen or a stylus for an iPad and different things like that, and I use those tools, it's still not quite the same. So, something about having that tactile piece. Favorite city you've been to? Gage, what do you think?
There's actually, so I don't know that it would be my favorite, but it's one of the most fun. There's a place called Solvang in California. And it's like a mini Swiss town up in the mountains.
Oh, we were talking about this once.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's super quaint, super cool. It's got like old 50s style diner up there too.
Cool.
And they got like lots of like legit Swiss chocolate factories kind of a thing. You know,
Nice.
you walk, or not even a factory, but like a small fudge or chocolate making business. And you get to walk in and see like all these giant copper pots. They hand make custom like clogs
Oh, wow.
out there.
Wow.
They have a great hat store
Oh,
that I
nice.
visited and
There you
got a
go.
hat from. It was a fedora. But yeah, they got an awesome hat store, awesome little shoe place.
Shout out to Justin Timberlake.
But yeah, tons of really cool, quaint little stuff. There's like a little creek that runs down over by there too. It's nice.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like it.
that.
Mhm.
That's a cool
Fun.
vibe. I like that. Angus, what do you think, man?
One of my favorite cities that I've been in was probably Edinburgh.
Okay.
Cool. I think part of it was when we were there too. We were there in August, so during the Fringe Festival, so there was theater. I mean, there were street performers everywhere, and just theater in every open public space, which was incredible. So I would say there, or pretty much any place I went in Scotland. I mean, I could happily live in any of those places. I just love the UK.
That's awesome.
But especially Scotland, yeah.
Nice.
So I love that. Ooh, this one has me stumped, guys.
I
'cause,
bet.
You
I
know,
bet.
it's like I have an admiration for several different places. I probably would go back to Paris because I mean I love Paris, and you know
Okay.
having lived there for years, it was great because I mean I just I got on the metro on last Monday and just like I knew where I was going because I had been there so much.
I definitely
So-
feel like Paris is your vibe.
It's a vibe for sure. I mean, it's so weird. I wear way more like relaxed clothes now, but I mean, when I was there, you're way more dressed up and have a style to you, and you can layer because it's like half the year it's cold. You know
I feel
what
like
mean?
that's
So
you though, man. Paris is totally Jay Brown.
It was a really good vibe. It was a good time when we were there for sure, and definitely something I really enjoyed being a part of. And I like Europe in general, but I mean, London's another great spot. Love Tokyo. I think Dubai is awesome. Dubai feels like a very souped up version of Phoenix. Like it's just like hot like here, but like brand new and shiny, and like on steroids. So super cool place. Really interesting cities. Even across like Bangkok's cool. Thailand's cool. I mean, in general, it's cool. But I mean, Bangkok's an amazing city. Hong Kong's really rad. Just like a lot of cool spots that you could pick. But I feel like because of how much time I spent there, that's probably why.
I believe that.
So pretty amazing. All right. Are you mountains or the beach? I don't think we've talked about this one yet.
I'm mountains.
You're mountains.
Yeah, I'm mountains.
Cool.
I love the beach. But I've never been much of a surfer.
Yeah.
I never even tried. I did like some bodyboarding and stuff, like skimboarding on the sand. And I love the beach, but more than that, I love getting lost in the mountains and being away from everybody and everything.
Yeah.
And just having that secluded alone time with nature and the Lord and just away from everything. No cell phone reception. Yeah. Like I got a campfire, a tent, like that's yes.
So that's why when you were in Pacific Northwest last week, you're like, this is the jam.
Money.
It's green. It's
great.
100%. Dreary, depressing. It's awesome.
Hey, sun was shining most of the time I was out there. Lord be praised.
Wow. Yeah. That is great. That's awesome. Angus, what do you think, man? Mountains or the beach?
I'd say probably the beach.
Okay.
I mean, I love the mountains. I've spent a lot of time camping and all that stuff, but I love the sound of the ocean. I love going and being caught up in the waves and just being physically enveloped in something that's so much bigger than you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, it's cool to be on. I've been on a lot of mountaintops and stuff, and it's very cool. It's always very impressive, but there's something about being picked up by a giant wave that makes you really feel how small and insignificant you are.
That's good.
And so I really like the beach.
That's awesome. This last week I was in Cyprus, as I alluded to earlier, and one of the things is because you're so far off your time, I was waking up super early and just way ahead of my alarm, and so I was waking up in the dark and going out and having a tea and started reading my Bible, and then I was waiting for the peak of the sunrise when it just started to get that first light. And then I went out in the ocean and just sat out in the ocean and then just stood there and drank a tea until the sunrise came all the way up, and just prayed, for my family and the church and friend list of people that, people that need some prayer. And it's just a really powerful thing. I'm definitely beach. I grew up hunting and fishing in the mountains. I love the mountains as well. Definitely see like why people would want a house in the mountains. Amazing. But I think because I spent so much time, I left here to go to the beach on purpose. I passed up scholarships in state to leave and go to the beach and live the beach life. So, scuba, I'm a scuba diver. I'm someone who's learned to surf and surfed a bunch when I lived in California.
That's so cool.
So got a chance to surf around the world a little bit, some different places, and dive around the world. So real admiration for the ocean and therefore the beach.
Yeah.
I feel like Arizona's like a really big beach with no ocean.
Yeah.
So
kind of
feel like at least Phoenix, we're like that
the
stuck
dead
down here.
beach.
That's
like in the Tool song, down in Arizona Bay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Okay, personal goal for this year. You have a personal goal that you're working on this year?
Well, the year's kind of wrapping up. We've been really
maybe
focused
for this
on
next
savings.
Year. How about this for 26?
That's fair. For 26, I want to figure out if we're gonna buy or rent. I want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've been moving towards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would like to be in a house, but Lord's will. Lord's will be done. He'll make the circumstance available and us in the right place. So waiting on him, but that's where we're aiming.
It's awesome.
I think I'd like to be more consistent, just in general. Putting things into place like in our lives, so that it's easier to be consistent. So
Habits,
that,
huh?
Yeah, so that the house is more consistently cleaned, and so that we feel like we're running around less in other areas, because I think consistency helps with that.
Yeah. It's good.
Absolutely.
Really good. For me, I would say I'm 2 years into a PhD, so just finished, and I have one more class for this year. So this next year, I really like to finish my coursework strong, and then head into my dissertation and get this thing cranked out, man, and head that direction. So that's a
So exciting.
real big goal for me. My goal every year is to go see a new country, and so this year, as it panned out, I saw a bunch of new countries. And just how it worked for what travel we were doing. I mean, Angus and I were in Nepal and South Korea together. It was new for me. Never been there. I've been in Thailand a ton, but never been in Nepal, never been in South Korea. So that was cool. Those are new. This summer, I went to new places and new countries and got a chance. I mean, recently, this last week, I got to go to the north side of Cyprus, to the Turkish side that's controlled there. You get to experience that. Wow. So there's some new stuff to kind of like start to click off some of these places and get to experience them. So
nice.
Yeah.
Super cool.
There's some on the docket for next year that I definitely haven't been to. So we'll see if that's what's get to happen or not.
Okay.
So those are some of the ones I would say that for me, that's where I'm at. So
very cool.
Yeah. All right. Last question here. Favorite app that you have on your phone?
I'd say probably YouTube Music or Hoopla.
Okay.
So,
what's Hoopla?
Hoopla,
Yeah.
it's like a
reading application.
Yeah, it's like Audible or
like an audiobook?
Yeah, well, it's for the Phoenix Public Library.
Right.
So you can check out books and stuff from the library. So you
For
can
free.
check out digital books, or you can check out audiobooks.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which you can check them out for free.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You do it through Avondale, Goodyear, all the cities out here, but Phoenix too.
So you just have to have a library card.
Yeah.
So
it's super cool. It's a great resource.
It's very cool.
I was using it so much, and then I got out of the habit of doing it, and then I would try to go back. We were talking about the other day. I tried to go back and open it up. He goes, "No, you have to go get a new card." I'm like,
Yeah, you have to.
That gum.
Yeah,
exactly.
You have to re-up your card every year, which I just found out because I had to go and do it too.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's awesome.
There you go.
Gage, what do you think, man? App on your phone?
I'm gonna chalk it up to me being slightly into the younger generation, but I think it'd have to be TikTok, Snapchat, and probably the Bible app that I have.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I was going to try and Jesus juke you guys and be like, mine is the Bible app. And
saw it coming a mile
Logos study. No, I do use those all the time. But I think just like you, I run background music or podcasts or stuff like that. So it definitely would be probably YouTube or podcast app or music, where I have just something running in the back. I use it all the time. Even whenever, like at the end of the day, if I'm doing emails or whatever in the pool, got something playing. You know what I mean? So just kind of a soundtrack to your life going around. So
I've tried to be better this last 10 days while I was in Seattle, right? Because we're there with family, we got stuff to do, all those things. But like there was a couple different instances where like at night before bed, my wife and I are sitting there, we talk for a little while, and then we just both wind up doom scrolling on our phones.
Sure.
It's like, man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to see what the next video is.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Doom scrolling.
And I think I've tried to get away from that by, I might listening something, but my phone might not even be face up or facing me at all. I just might have one AirPod in and kind of going about it. But then sometimes I am, I'm like on my phone and doing different stuff. But many times I'll listen to it and doing mail or doing work and like having it playing on other things. So I'm not even looking at the screen that's playing on my phone.
Yeah, that's good.
But that's been a helpful thing, because if not, I'll end up doing just like that. You doom scroll forever.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like usually I'll stop and I'll put it down and just listen to it whenever I come across. It's called the Cornerstone Collective podcast.
Oh, I've
I
heard
come
of
across that on like TikTok.
Real handsome
or
guy with a big nose
Instagram.
on there. Yeah, really good.
Who's that?
Thank you.
Oh man. But yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
trying to get away from it. My wife would appreciate me getting away from it too.
From TikTok.
Yeah, well, yeah, just from scrolling in general.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it is true. It's interesting. In the past, I would say like you're just sitting on the couch and watching the TV or whatever. It's like, man, I never find myself really doing that very much. Because it's like if I am, it's like I'm watching with my kids, or we're watching a movie together. But I'm very rarely just locked up on the couch, just like holding it down. You know what I mean? Because you have your own portable little TV
TV right
situation
there,
in
yeah.
in your pocket. So yeah, it's interesting. I just thought it was interesting as a question. I was like, man, wow, that's interesting. Kind of gives you insight into what your habits are.
Yeah.
So process on that.
Got to work on my habits.
Some good insight for us this week and the conversation. Thank you for joining in with us and being a part of what is happening and what's a part of. So God bless you guys and much love until next time.